Hey guys, Deflne Live here, and today I bring to you a very special video that I know a couple of people have asked me about before, and judging by the interest from the streams, that it would definitely help people to make a video on the topic of Nylo. I know there's not a whole lot of resources in video format or even in guides that discusses this, and I felt like if you're going to go for any sort of PB or speed runs, or you just want to make your Nylo rooms cleaner and faster in general, that this would be a very useful video for you. However, I am not doing this alone. I am joined by my good friend Luke, aka Luke PVM on Twitch, or FA to Kill in game. We don't claim to be the best at these roles by any means, but we have been doing these for thousands of raids, and we just wanted to share with you our experiences and our mentality when it comes to doing the Nylo room. We didn't really cover melee at all in this video, as we felt like it was kind of more straightforward and less nuanced than the other roles, but it is still important nevertheless if you want to have a nice room. So hope you guys enjoy this video, and let's jump right into it. This is the most common setup that you will see for 4-man efficient raids as a mage. You will want to forego an ancestral hat in order to be able to bring a dragon warhammer. The Kodai wand is whenever you are barraging for the 15% damage increase, and inside your rune pouch should be souls, bloods, and deaths. Some other options here for different team sizes are an ancestral hat in 5-mans, and an imbued heart as well. However, for speedruns, most teams will have their range or their melees take an imbued heart and trade that around before the Nylo room. The reason why you will want to use Ancestral here over Void Mage is for the increased max hit, and this allows you to one-hit the Nylos more often, along with the increased accuracy as well.
And this here is the typical gear setup for a ranger. The main things are just your standard void and bando switch with side T-bow blowpipe, etc. You'll be bringing beaches and hammer usually, and the only really special things for range would be the chins for the clump at maiden and to throw the double waves. And everything else is fairly standard. The category stores used as a ticket for the Sudstack ball if needed, or flies, or the stomp at bloat and stuff like that. It gives you 4 of them in one inventory slot.
So this chart is a breakdown of every single wave inside the Nylo room. At first glance, it can be kind of intimidating to look at, but it's pretty straightforward once you learn all the labels. I will also be linking this chart in the description down below if you want to check it out for yourself. Essentially, a small text will indicate a small Nylo, big text will indicate a big Nylo, red box will indicate that the Nylo is aggressive towards players, and dashes in between styles means that the Nylo will change what style it is before it actually enters a room. This is helpful for your range and mage, as this allows them to hit these Nylos before they actually enter. As a melee, you can also memorize this chart based off of what direction you main the most, and know exactly what aggros come out on your side. A more helpful feature is any waves that have 2 small melee Nylos coming out, you can use your scythe to kill them both. Another important feature to note about the Nylos is, and this comes directly from Modkieran's Twitter, which I'll be linking down below, is the concept of a cap. Essentially, a cap is a maximum number of Nylos that are allowed to be inside of a room before you cause a stall. When a stall occurs, you will have to reduce the current number of Nylos to below the cap in order to spawn the next wave. For waves 1 through 20, the cap is 12, and from waves 21 and on, the cap doubles to 24. In this chart, wave 21 is line 23, the one that is highlighted, where there are 2 Nylos of the same style that spawn from all three direction, a range, a mage, and a melee. Before this, wave 20 is the one where there are 3 big melees. During this transition from when the cap increases from 12 to 24, there is a built-in stall by the game, and that just means that wave 21 will take a little longer to spawn than all the previous waves, even if you didn't actually stall the wave. What this means is you can hit all 3 big melees as soon as they come into the room, and try to hit all the small ones that stem from that before wave 21 spawns without a penalty. So pretty much if you want to have a quick Nylo room, you want to have it so there are no stalls. And in order to achieve that, I recommend killing the Nylos inside the room in the following order. Small Nylo aggressive, big Nylo aggressive, small Nylo non-aggressive, big Nylo non-aggressive. The reason why you want to do this is you prioritize the aggressive ones first so that they don't damage the players as much and your team can focus more on DPSing rather than healing. On the pillars, you want to prioritize the small ones, as hitting the big ones will just increase the amount of Nylos in the room and making it more likely to stall. Also, you can try to notice any instances where you can kill multiple small Nylos, either by a barrage from a mage, chins from a range, or a scythe from a melee. Now that we know exactly the breakdown of every single wave inside the Nylo room, the concept of a cap, the concept of a stall, and tips on how to prevent stalls, let's see exactly how this can be achieved when you are the mage or the range role inside of the room. So the first couple waves are pretty straightforward as a mage. You want to head south for the first mage wave, then hit the small one to the west, hit the small one to the east, hit the big one to the south, and then hit the small one to the east. If there are any mages that come from the big ones, you also want to focus on those as well. From there, you want to hit the small one to the west, followed by the small one to the south that comes with the big ranger. After that, you want to hit the big one to the west, followed by the small one to the east. From here, you can kind of just help your teammates with whatever you see in the room. I noticed some rangers, so I decided to help out the ranger here. After that is a triple range wave, then the triple mage. To do the triple mage correctly, you need to be tick perfect. You start with a barrage to the east, followed by a trident hit to the west, followed by a barrage to the south. If you do this correctly, you will be able to hit all 3 waves. From there, you want to focus on the big melee to the south, as your meleers can hit the east and west doubles. Then from there you go for the small one to the west, small one to the west again, followed by the small one to the south, and then you go to the small one to the east while also hitting anything else in the room that you see during this time. Hit the small one to the east immediately as it spawns, followed by a small one to the south. These both become rangers, and so it is very helpful to do these. After that, triple mage, not too important, none of these are aggros, followed by triple range, followed by triple mage. You want to hit the one to the east, as this one is an aggro. And during this part, I noticed a stall as the next wave isn't coming out, so in order to help the stall, I hit any small mages that I see, but keeping an eye on the south, as the south is the next wave I will want to hit. You want to hit this as it is an aggro big melee, and this is the part where the Nylo's limit goes from 12 to 24. So you hit the double to the west, and now starts all the big aggros. So you want to hit the big one to the east as soon as it spawns, and if you don't kill it, then I like to use a scythe hit here to guarantee the kill. Once that one dies, you want to focus again on the east, followed by a flasher to the south. In this case, Luke ended up killing that with his blowpipe, and then you will want to focus south, followed by a west flasher. If you don't kill the one to the south, you will need to hit it again, as it stays a mage and is an aggro. After that, you can kind of just look around the room and again focus on any small ones that you see for the next wave. After that, you will want to hit the big one to the west, as this is an aggro, and then I like to hit the one behind it if I killed the first one with a trident hit. From there, you want to look east, and you want to double barrage the two mages once they arrive on the pillar together. From there, you will just want to barrage any big mages you see to pop them so that your cleanup can go quicker, followed by barraging any pillars that have a lot of mages. When that east big one comes out, you want to hit that, as that is the last mage aggro, and then continue to barrage any pillars that have multiple mages on them, or trident hit any singular ones. And if there are no mages left in the room, then just kind of help your team out with whatever's left. Here I noticed there's a couple melees, so I try to help my team out with that.
Hello guys, I'm Luke, and we're now switching to the ranged part of the Nylo video. First off, I'm gonna assume you know the basics of ranging. You know the waves to a certain degree, you know the aggros, and that's about it. After that, I'm going to try to focus and highlight on a few of the more important waves, and just show how I feel about range Nylo, which is that it's mainly improvising with a few set waves in between that you try to focus on, and kinda always do the same way. Other than that, you just, well, click on the green stuff, kill the small ones as soon as possible. After that, focus on the aggros. And after all the aggros are dealt with, and all the small ones, and everything in the room, the big ones, if you have nothing green to kill, like right here, it's a great example. You see me switch to my melee gear to just help the melee out with a double. Other than that, I just focus the small ones. I see a big one coming there, so I hit the big one, but I will always focus the small ones. After that, I'm just keeping the room as clear as possible. That's about it. What can happen, the reason I also focus small ones is if you don't keep the room below a certain count, as what's happening about now, you'll notice that the last wave has just spawned, but there's no new wave coming in. This is because there's too many Nylos alive in the room, not just the rangers, but just in general. So you want to prevent that. You want to keep the room as clean as possible. If you have nothing green to hit, just hit a blue one. And right there, the stall ended. You can see me just go back into my normal rotation of just killing stuff, basically. There's a chin wave into just small ones that are still alive. I didn't kill the chinners, so I just kill the chinners now. It's the flesher where I helped the ranger out a bit, because I had nothing to kill. And this is an important one. Right here I had the room completely clean, so I switched to my T-bow instantly to kill the big south one. Then the west ones flash, so I kill those two. And right here I have something close by enough to click on instantly, where I can get that and then T-bow the big one again, and then just get back into my normal rotation. If the room isn't clear by that point, focus the west ones, because you, like I said, small ones first. And right here, just focusing small ones over big ones again. And this is another important wave that I wanted to highlight. After you've killed that aggro, you instantly want to run west, because those small ones are actually flashing aggros, small aggros that otherwise the mage has to deal with, and you want to prevent that. And right here we're just continuing, and these are the last few waves. There's a slightly better example of what to do. As you see, I'm slightly late on the ranger, and you can see the west ones flash, and there the south ones flash into a double ranger. If you were slightly earlier, you could have killed both those flashing west ones and then threw a chin at both of the southern green ones. And that's just a slightly more efficient option than what you saw me do here on screen, because you get the chin on two of them. I kill a major instead of a ranger at that point, which, since it takes me 2 ticks to kill a ranger instead of 4 ticks to kill a major, it's slightly better. Other than that's about it. A little extra tip. This is right before the chin waves. You can toss a chin at the one spawning in east because you can't instantly hit it with your blowpipe, and it saves a few ticks.
The main key difference between a 4-man and a 5-man when it comes to maging is you have 2 mages and a 5-man. What this allows you to do is you can split the room east and west, similar to how the mailers do it, at least until wave 21. When wave 21 appears, I like to have one person focus on what is being spawned by the wave and hitting all the pre-fires as previously shown. The other mage should be focusing on what's actually inside the room and on the pillars, and hitting any single Nylo with their trident or barraging any multiple Nylos in order to preserve the pillar's health. In a trio, it's a little different as you don't have any real help like you do in other team sizes. What this means is any mages that are inside the room, if they're not killed by you, they will not be killed. So if you notice that the room, especially after wave 21, gets a little bit hectic and there are a lot of mages on your pillars, I would prioritize barraging the pillars and killing those mages and not worrying about the pre-fires as much, as your melee can help you with any aggro's that make it through. And when you notice that the pillars are a little bit more contained, you can also hit the melee aggro's when they're inside as well. People have asked me how to do a duo Nylo, as this is probably the hardest room to complete. It would require an entirely different video to really go in depth at it, but if you want one major tip, is similar to a trio, you will want to preserve your pillar's health more so than hitting pre-fires, as your pillars will just take a lot more damage. And if it comes to the point where there are a lot of melee aggro's in the middle, you can just pray melee until your pillars are contained a little bit and then focus on the aggro's. You should be prioritizing the aggro's as much as you can in a duo, but I would say the number one thing is to try to keep your pillars healthy. So that is just one tip, but to really do a full breakdown is a completely separate video.
And now a quick note about the differences between trio, 4-man and 5-man for the range role. There's really not too much to talk about for the differences. The main ones are in 5-man, everything will be slightly higher HP, so you will notice that you one-hit everything less, which in turn means you're not always going to be able to follow the exact same rotation. You'll have to improvise a bit more. And that's basically it. Just still focus on aggro's, then small ones, then big ones, and try to keep the room as clear as possible. If you can follow the same rotation in 4-man, then it's near perfect. Otherwise, just try to kill as many small ones as possible. Stay in combat. The differences between trio and 4-man is that you will have slightly more time, because they have slightly less HP, so you're gonna be one-hitting them more often. In that time, just try to or help out your meleer by sighting a big one, or help out your major by just quickly switching and killing one or two small ones if you have some downtime. And that's really about it.
There you have it, guys, the Nylo video in its entirety. Hope you guys did enjoy it. It did come out a little longer than expected, but I did want to give you guys as much information and value as I could in order to help you guys along with your raids. Again, a huge shout out to Luke for helping with the range part of this video, as God knows I definitely could not have done it on my own. If you guys did enjoy the video, please do like and consider subscribing to the channel, as it helps me out a ton. And a quick reminder that I do stream on Twitch nearly every single day with endgame content, and if you want to speak with me personally, or if you have any questions, you can also leave them in the comment section down below. I'll try to answer you as soon as I can. Otherwise, thank you all for watching, and happy raiding.